I think the reality is that we gave different colorations. The reality is that when you participate actively in governance, you're a politician, okay? But you must have a background. You must have something that you bring to the table. So in terms of what have you done before and so on and so forth. So we've all had different experiences in life. I was an IT specialist at the highest level and have some finance background. So the reality is you must bring that experience into what you do because you have what you have. And therefore, politics should not change that. So the essence for us as politicians is to say, okay, to be in government, you must be, according to our constitution, you must be a member of a political party. You cannot just jump in. And as such, we come together, and that's the essence of a political party. That's why people have organizations, is to say that people of common opinion, people that have the same ideology, let's come together and say, how can we run our country better? And for me, it's all about that. How do we run our country better? And I've been lucky to work under somebody like Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, under Governor Fashola, and now working with Governor Sanwo-Olu. So the reality is that people say Lagos is lucky. Well, I'm not sure it's about luck. It's about determination and having people around us that are able to guide us. Ironically, people say Godfatherism, but the reality is in life, you must have people that can talk to you, that needs nothing from you, that wants nothing from you, that can say, hey, you are not doing the right thing, or you are doing the right thing. Why don't you look at it? Especially people who have walked that path before. So if you've walked a path before, you know the pitfalls, you know the various challenges. So it's important to listen to those and say, oh, if we do it this way, I think it will work this way or not. And therefore, so we are lucky in Lagos that we have that, and we've been able to move our state. And our prayer now is that we'll be able to move this country in a better direction. As a people, we are bound to have different opinions. However, where I think we shouldn't go is to go violent or abusive when people have different opinions. We must have different opinions. I'm sure everybody wants a better Nigeria, whether you are whatever you call yourself. We all want a country. And some people have the view that, oh, we are too slow. But so the challenge is that, for me, my advice for the young people is be educated in your decision. Be well informed about your decision. So we cannot just follow a crowd. Do you know where the crowd is going? Do you even understand the content of that crowd? So, but it's okay to say, oh, I've checked this, I've checked that, this is the way I want to be. But there must be a reason, or there must be reasons behind that. If we have that, then our country will be okay. But if you look at the history of the world, the reality is that Adolf Hitler has followers. That doesn't make him correct. The worst people in the history of humanity are followers. And the best people in the history of humanity has followers. So, bottom line is, you must check, who am I following? Why am I following that? And I'm not saying that's applicable to us, but I'm saying that let us be convinced about the reality of what we are doing. So don't deal with what you can't measure. You can't measure somebody's faith. Even the religious book says, don't judge. So if I can't judge, if I can't make why am I taking decisions based on that? So we shouldn't allow religion or ethnicity to divide us. And if we come together, I'm sure that we can move this country forward. But let us make decisions based on informed opinions and on informed research about individual policies, not just following the crowd just for the fun of it. I think it's very important for us to understand our history very, very well. Because we are a people, we are a cultural people, we are people of very rich history. We need to even understand ourselves. And so if you look at various other parts of the world, so if, for example, in the United States, before you can get a BSc, history of almost 12 credits about American history. The same in the UK. So I think we should do that in our country. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer. You must have courses that explains the history of Nigeria, where we are. I think that gives people more understanding of who we are as a people and understand our challenges and stop comparing ourselves with Europeans. We are not Europeans. We are not Americans. We are Nigerians. We are Africans. So our relationship are more with Africans rather than, of course, we can say that our civilization was circuited by colonization, but, it is what it is. It has happened. We must learn about it. We must know it so that we understand where we are coming from. You understand? So the same thing with government. So we must engage with them so that some of the solutions that they think in their head, they can come into our space. And that's what we do. We must do more social inclusion. People at the grassroots, people at lower level, how do we bring them up? What do we need to do? So basically, as a government, we can't say we've done enough. We must keep doing, like you said, bringing them into all the various aspects of what we do as a people. Because, in our country, we are not like other countries like Japan where it's the elderly people that are more. In our own cases, our youth that are more. So for our own selfish interest, we must bring them up better so that they can protect us when we are old. Listening to what people have said and everything, I think that they've rated us highly, that we've done very well. We've attacked a lot of major infrastructures. If you notice, there are not many cities of our size in the world that don't have a rail. And that's why we said, let's go and finish the rail. But in all those cities around the world, they have the support of the federal government. So either it's London, New York, Addis Ababa, everywhere. Is the federal government that funds majority. But in this case, it's only our state that funded it on its balance sheet. So we are the one that actually did everything by ourselves. So the reality is that it's a huge challenge, but we are pushing it. So we are building road infrastructures. We are attacking our schools for working in the environment, our health infrastructure. We are building it. We can see, and that showed during when we had crisis. We have a department that is called Department of Resilience that shows that how do Lagos as a city absorb shock? What happens if we have a disaster? What do we do? And we saw that during COVID, and we were able to work on. So we are building a resilient city, a resilient city that can absorb shock. And there can be different shocks, some that you plan for, some that you don't plan for. So we have various scenarios that, and we thank God that it's been successful, and that's what influenced various other projects that we are doing. That's why we are building the new Mercy Hospital that can now take much, much more children. We have our MCC that are just dedicated to children, and we're expanding. I think we now have 12 of those in our state. So what that does, building all these high schools, all these high courts, all these MCC in different localities, is also to retain people within their locality. You know that it used to be that it's only Mercy Hospital and a care house where you can have first-class delivery. And what that means is everybody must come from Ikorodu. But now that you have your MCC in Ikorodu, in Badagry, in Baja, all over the place, everybody can stay in their locality and get first class. So reducing transportation needs, and that's why the courts are also there. Before, everybody must come to Ikeja. But now you have high court in Badagry, you have in Ekpe, you have in Ikorodu, and all over the place. So that's what we are doing, managing the state, and we must just do that more. Like Mr. Governor said, the TEAMS agenda is a framework, but now we'll be doing TEAMS++. The plus is social inclusion, youth engagement, and of course empowering the populace. So that how do we directly impact people's life? How do we lift people up from the lower bottom of the scale? How do we lift people up so that we can enhance their life, especially our youths and our women? And so those are the things that we'll do better now. We want to actually engage that, and entertainment, our culture, and the rest, so that we can start bringing people to Lagos to come and see how this is done. So basically, it's to expand on what we are doing and make sure that we do it far, far better with the inclusion more of our youth and our women.